Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to yet another Mayberry Investor Update. I'm your host, Dan Theok, Senior Vice President of Investment Banking here at Mayberry Investment Limited. Joining me today will be one of our very own investment advisors, Percival Graham. Welcome, Percival.
Thank you, Dan.
Today we'll be bringing you brief but insightful presentations on FosRich Limited and Lumber Depot Limited. So be sure to stick around. At the end of the program, PJ will be sharing some invaluable investment tips from our Investors Corner. Before we get started, I'd like to take this moment to remind you that if you're looking to expand your investment portfolio or embark on your very first investment journey, Mayberry can place you on track to financial freedom. Follow us on social media to learn more. Now let's get right into our presentations. First up, I'll be sharing on Lumber Depot. Great. Lumber Depot is one of our top 10 picks for this year, and I'm very pleased to be sharing with you their 9-month results to December 2021. In the 9-month results, we can see where sales are up by 10% to $1.1 billion. Their gross profit is up by 17% to $257 million, and this represents an increase in their gross profit margin, something we like to see, from about 21% to 22% on average. And as a result, that flows straight through to the bottom line because they've contained their admin costs to an increase of 36% in their profit from operations, with them showing profit from operations of $138.3 million. Net finance costs are relatively small at $4.5 million, resulting in a final net profit of $142.9 million for the 9-month period, a whopping 42% increase over the comparable prior period. As a result, the earnings per share also increases by 42% from 14 cents from the previous comparable period to 20 cents per share currently. At the end of trading, the stock price closed at $3.39, and based on its trailing EPS, they have a PE of 12.8 times. In a junior market where I like to think of the average as 20 times. So on a PE basis, this stock is undervalued by approximately 59%. But I actually expect the stock price to adjust by at least 40% over the next 3 to 6 months. So we look forward to the upcoming quarters. We also see where total assets are up to $588 million, at 18% growth. And the 12-month trailing earnings is actually $187 million. Stocks traded as high as 4.29, and as I said, I'm expecting the stock to get up by at least 40% from where it is today, so I expect to get back to that $4.30 level in short order. Next slide, we show what's been happening in terms of the quarterly profits, and whilst the last 2 quarters have been relatively flat, they're still comparable to the prior periods. We see where it was really in their 4th quarter and 1st quarter last year that they really had big jumps. And I expect that as we come out of the pandemic, as we look forward to hearing the announcements on Thursday from the Prime Minister, as the economy opens back up, whilst construction definitely has been booming, we still think there's room for growth. So I'm expecting the next 2 quarters' earnings on lumber to improve, and therefore for that earnings per share to continue improving, and for the price to adjust back to closer to the market average from a PE perspective of 20 times. So all things considered, I'm expecting a minimum 30 to 40% increase in lumber over the next 3 to 6 months. And on the final slide, we show how the stock has traded. In recent times, we've seen where it's peaked up at 417. Now it's back down to 339. I really think this stock is a great buy anywhere in that 340, 345 region. I really do expect it to get back to $4 very quickly and beyond. PJ, what about you? Any thoughts on lumber? Is it one you like? How do you feel about it?
Sure. As we would have done the forum last year on Lumber Depot, we did see it as one of the recommended picks, and we actually projected that the stock would go above $4, and we did see that happening in March of this year, earlier in the month. We do anticipate that the stock price will actually go back up, as you say, in the region of 30 to 40% appreciation. And given that construction continues to boom, and we expect that to continue over the short to medium term, then Lumber Depot will continue to benefit from that boom that we're experiencing in the construction sector. Their supplies are not going to be adversely affected by what we see happening in Eastern Europe, given that the majority of their supplies come from Central America. So it is still one of our top picks, still a recommended buy. The company has managed to cut that gap between their expenses and their income, and so they have managed to remain profitable over the last year. So I fully agree with you, Dan. Lumber Depot is definitely a stock that you should add to your portfolio if it is you want to experience some gains.
Thanks for that. Appreciate that, PJ. Great. Next up, we'll do a review of Phosphorus Limited, which will be done by PJ. PJ, over to you.
All right, thank you, Dan. And good evening again, viewers. So I'll be doing a review of FosRich Company Limited. FosRich, in my view, is one of those companies that, some people don't pay attention to, but it's a company that we should all watch very keenly, even as we would have recognized that their stock price has moved from a low of $4 to a high of $18.88 over a 2-year period. So FosRich Company Limited is a distributor of lighting, electrical, and solar energy and PVC products here in Jamaica. Yeah, the company provides quality and cost-effective services here in Jamaica and directly collaborates with clients and executing technical solutions. FosRich has strategically positioned itself across the island. They have 2 locations in Montego Bay, one in Mandeville, and of course their head office here in Kingston. This allows the company to reach any section of the island within less than 2 hours. One of the good things about FosRich, and I think we should all be excited about it, is that the company is now at a point where they'll be launching their online platform, which will allow consumers and customers to just simply go on the net, order their products, and then they'll be able to get them from FosRich. Now, we're going to be looking at the financial highlights for the year ended December 2021, where the company did significantly well, in spite of the impact of COVID that would have been experienced by all companies across Jamaica. Now, they managed to record revenue of $2.35 billion, gross profit of $1.04 billion. Net profit moved up 59% from $125.69 million to $199.309 million. I like the fact that they managed to increase their earnings per share by 59%, moving from 0.25 to 0.40. Gross profit would have increased by 26%, moving from $824.753 million to $1 billion. The PE ratio, as we see, is 43.17 million, and the company currently has a total asset base valuing $3.77 million. I really admire the fact that FosRich, even during COVID, was able to keep all their locations open, and this would have also helped them to record the profits that we're seeing on the slide today. Looking at the quarterly profit movements, and I'll just look specifically at the 4 quarters for 2020 and the 4 quarters for 2021, where even though we recognize the last quarter for 2021, they did not do as well as they did in 2020. We recognize that over the period of the year, the company continued to increase its profitability. So if you look at Q4 for 2020, they managed to record profits of 50.45 million, but in Q4 of 2021 was 20.09 million. However, if you look at Q2 and Q3 for the 2 comparable years, you'd recognize that the company managed to increase its profitability in the year 2021. Looking at the stock price history for FosRich, we would recognize that between December 2020 and currently, the stock would have moved from a low of $4 to go above $16, which is pretty much moving up 4 times. And trading of the stock actually closed yesterday at $17. FosRich has several projects in the pipeline which would actually give you an indication of where the company is going and what it is that you can anticipate from them over the short to medium term. So the company has not limited its distribution reach just to Jamaica. They have actually begun distributing in other Caribbean territories, and by the end of this month they'll be sending off their second shipment of supplies to other countries in the Caribbean. In addition to that, the company has managed to secure a contract with JPSCO to repair transformers. They are targeting 2,000 transformers per year. And the JPS pretty much has a total capacity of 40,000 transformers, which FosRich will be targeting repairs for. In addition to that, the company is building out their online platform, as I would have mentioned previously, which will allow more persons to access the wide range of products that FosRich offers. I also want to tie in the fact that FosRich and lumber will pretty much link, because just as construction is booming and lumber would benefit directly from that, you'll find that because of the range of products that FosRich offers, they will also be able to benefit from the boom in construction, specifically as it concerns their lighting, electrical, and solar energy products that they offer. So if it is that you're really looking for a stock that will appreciate over the short to medium term, in my view, FosRich is one of those companies that you should be looking to buy. What are your thoughts, Dan?
Thanks, PJ. I agree with you for the most part. It's a great company. I'm going to declare interest. We do a lot of work for them and helping them to grow their business. We helped them win that contract with JPS, for instance. Now they're expanding into the special economic zone in Clarendon. It's a great company. Cecil Foster is doing a great job. I think it's a great growth stock for the long term. It's trading a little rich right now, but I definitely think they're going to deliver. The last quarter in particular was a little less than desirable, but I have no doubt that as the economy opens up back, with all of these high rises that need electrical wires and PVC pipes, that the moves they've made over the last 3 years to move into these segments are going to pay huge dividends in the future. So this is definitely a good one to have for the medium to long term. Again, trading a little rich from a PE perspective right now, but I have no doubt that they're going to back it up with further growth to come. We've really watched them grow over the last 3 years. Their CAGR over the last 4 years is about 22% per annum. In terms of profitability, I expect them to continue with that run rate at a minimum. And so I think this is really a great one to have in your medium to long-term bucket. Thanks for that, PJ. Really appreciate it. Great. So as we move on, I think we're going to share with you some valuable investor tips, and that will come from none other than PJ himself. So PJ, what do you have for us?
My investor tip for today is diversify your portfolio to guard against any shocks that you may experience in the market.
Well done. Short, simple, and sweet. It's exactly correct. No matter how much I love any particular stock, in my portfolio, I try not to have more than 10 to 15% concentration risk. It's always a good idea to spread it out. And when the pandemic came, for example, PJ, that was very useful because the tourism stocks that I was in love with really did not do well. And as soon as we came out of the pandemic, CPJ, my most favorite, for instance, I watched that go from $4 to $20, and now it's back in the $14 space. So diversifying your portfolio by sector, by industry, it's always a great idea. There's no better advice I think you can give anyone than to spread your risk, diversify your portfolio. Thanks for that, PJ. Really appreciate it. Well, folks, short and sweet. I hope you liked it. To our viewers, thank you all for being a part of today's Investor Update. I'd like to give a special thanks to my fellow panelist, Percival Braham, for his valuable contributions today. Thanks, PJ. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Dan.
Don't miss our next Investor Forum series, which resumes in the upcoming weeks. Be sure to follow us on social media to find out who our next speaker will be. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mayberry Investments Limited. Thank you all viewers for tuning in today. And remember, wise investors, slow and steady wins the race. Goodbye.